Where's all the people? Crowd. Up here.
What's up, dude?
What up?
I can't hear you for some reason.
They don't have a poke thing in here to poke people.
Uh,
There's Corey. I don't know how, I tried to do live streaming. It's the first time I've done live streaming with Zoom, so I'm not sure what the heck's happening.
Can you
Hello,
hear me?
Corey.
yeah, man.
Can you hear me, Terry?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hear us?
People hear me?
There we go.
What up, JP?
What's up?
All right, cool. Good deal. Where you at, Corey, in the world?
Oh, that's a complicated question. No, just north of Dallas. So Dallas North in a little suburb called Sherman because we got
Okay.
tired of the madness down there. And I got a 4.5-year-old, and we got her in a Montessori up here that's like super aces, like Mensa quality, like really high. So
Yeah.
we moved, it takes us an hour and 10 minutes to get to family in northern Dallas downtown, but worth it, man. Slow
Yeah.
streets, just what she needs right now. So love it.
Heck yeah. That's kids education, man. You got a freaking public school system's whack.
Yeah. And it's not getting any better as
It
of
is
today.
not. I mean, my grandkids are obviously too young to get there, but I'm like, geez, they're like 2 and 3 years away, and it's like, gosh, do something quick, please.
Yeah.
So, Skylar went to Montessori and just loved it, thrived, freaking, really good, really cool type of system.
It
We
is.
didn't have that, obviously, and
Yeah.
back in my day, but
And she was born on September 9th. And so it's like this whole weird thing where they're like, well, September 1st is the cutoff date. And I'm like, yeah, but she's operating at like a seventh grade level. So can we just get her in school, And
yeah,
then the Montessori people, they were like, keep her with us. And I was like,
yeah,
take my money, I guess,
yeah. No, that's awesome that you're doing that for sure. So, are you finally warming up in Dallas?
It was on Sunday it was 22, yesterday it was 86, and today it is 37.
Yeah, it's 86 here today. It's like freaking. And I had a client, one of my white label clients came in yesterday for a funeral, family funeral, and he called me to golf. And it's like, okay, no problem. And we started at 1, and oh, it was freaking, I think it was like 89, which is hot for me in February. So, by July, I'm kind of halfway used to it. But beginning of February, we're like 14 degrees above normal.
Yeah, it's not normal here, but Texas has always been weird. Like it'll do that.
And where JP's at, it's always freaking cold. Always hoodie weather around the Bay Area.
Yes, it is for sure.
I haven't
Hey,
worn it in my house.
hit me with your GitHub again, JP. I reset the Git on Aether. I need to get you
Uh-huh.
back in there.
Yeah, I need to jump in there and swamped.
No, I know. We all have. Hey Terry, I'll get with you after this and we'll get square on spring training. I just have been running like
Okay, sure.
miles an hour.
No problem. Yeah, it's freaking crazy busy. So, what you got a turntable too, huh? You're a record dude?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
I'm 46, been playing records since I was 20. Did it
Okay.
did
I
it
just started rebuying about a year and a half, about 2 years ago. And I moved my whole setup. My whole setup was in my office and I never got to use it. So I moved it downstairs where at least then I can just kind of get away from work. And, I figured I'd use it while I was working and I got sick of getting up and changing the record.
Yeah, I'll do my long play, like old school stuff, all my, doors up through like the 80s stuff. I'll just jerk one and put it in the living room, put it on the AV. But if I'm in here, I'm usually doing, actually spinning records, which is just therapy for me after a week of banging on code and all the things.
That's cool. All right, Junior's here. So
What's up, Sky Money?
What's up, JP?
How you doing, big guy?
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
A little
what do you
cold.
got a hoodie on for, dude? It's freaking like 89 degrees out.
Hot. It is very hot. I ran out of clothes.
You ran out of clothes.
I gotta do laundry.
Go tell that wife of yours to get laundry going.
Yeah.
Uh, that's awesome. All right. Who else is gonna? Anybody else gonna join? Who cares if they do? So, all right. Did anybody else? You break out the whiskey, JP?
Trying to.
Matter of fact, let me go get one.
Let me go grab mine.
What do you got, Skylar? Anything?
Tequila. Never drank much whiskey.
Yeah, I definitely slowed down for the stomach stuff.
Yeah, it's just too many different types. Sometimes it's hard to choose.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably gonna go to Tuesday Classic Harkins tonight with Cassie, so
All right, on. What are you guys gonna see?
I don't know. I just asked her. She said her family's going and invited me. I don't know what's on. Let's see.
The class is it? You said classic, so it's old movies.
Yeah, we don't really go unless it's classics.
There hasn't been many good movies out since COVID ended.
No, yeah, they've been pretty bad. It's called The Thing.
Oh, The Thing. Yeah, it's a good movie. Kurt Russell, baby.
And is it Kurt Russell?
Yeah, should right.
It is, yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's an older movie. It's a um, some Frozen freaking. It's crazy, but good movie. I didn't know they were doing that classic stuff at the theater.
yeah, they do it every Tuesday.
I love Kurt Russell.
He's one of my favorites, man. He freaking,
It's so good. For real.
his Christmas movie, his Christmas Chronicles, freaking genius.
Overboard. That
Yeah.
was classic.
All those for sure. He's
Showing my age.
definitely one of my favorites.
I met him in Hawaii when I was little.
Did you really?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, him and Goldie Hawn and all their kids.
That's cool. Yeah, I just saw one of his Netflix ones. Bone, was it Bone Crusher? Bone something? It's a
One of my
Western one.
favorite movies with him is it's called Soldier.
Yep. Soldier's really good. Then of course you can't forget Backdraft, the classic.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that was a classic. I haven't seen Soldier. I don't think. I'm looking it up.
great. It's a great movie.
Is
Yeah,
it?
Soldier's awesome. And he doesn't talk. He just,
No,
he just moves. It's funny too, because the part where they teach him how to plant a little plant, and I started to do that's the way I was teaching my grandson how to do it. So stick it in the hole,
Oh,
smash.
I do remember that. It's been a hot minute though. I'm gonna have to watch it again.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's like some like bio human like fighter army like military dude. They train them when they're like kids.
yeah. I still think they have those in real life.
No, I'm sure they do.
So that's
So
funny.
I don't know about you guys, but like the swings I've been seeing the past like 4 to 5 days in the SERP are insanity. Like just to open a conversation while we're having happy hour, I don't know what your
Heck yeah,
format
no, that's
is, but
exactly.
like I've been seeing some crazy stuff. But I'm it seems to be working in the benefit of like informational, right? Like schematic, and then content driven around all of that. Like that formula we've been producing, like everything today is starting to just go crazy up. Like we've always had a good like, bounce. Lee told me whenever we started this project, he told me he's like that 4 month bounce is going to be your hard objective, right? But I've really seen like in the past month or so just an extreme uptake of like data scaffolding architecture again. It's like they're falling back to getting, you know, a new, I feel like a new baseline because the SGE is just like so random now. Like we're scoring number one on big medical ones in one of my client accounts. It's just like you'll be one and you incognito and then Tor browse it, and do the same term, and it's just like a revolving carousel at the top. It even if you're making it into the top. So like we have number one in the cert, but like we've been focusing on SGE placement, and it went from using what I felt like was featured snippet ranking to the new thing that I'm almost at the bottom of. But like, have you guys been seeing that? Like just like high turnover, like you can even refresh a search function right now. This happened for me today for the first time inside of a browser, no incog, and it'll wipe the cookie trail and research. So I saw that today too, and I was just wondering if you guys are seeing like anything like that. Like the volatility is real, obviously, but like
I just seen a lot of stuff with like more community stuff coming in, not even just Reddit and Quora, but other sites too.
I think the big change I've been, and just in the past week, is the difference between incognito and Google.
yeah,
I mean, it's getting pretty freaking drastic, and it's on the incognito side, and um, the map seems to be non-affected, but the organics are really take a shift in in the way they're numbered. But that's the only thing but I have been, obviously you can sit here and hit refresh all the time, and only ones that kind of change for me are like 4 down, 5 down, whatever. Um, but I've been trying to get into the Google AI results, which, I've figured out Bing already. I can get into the Bing AI results pretty good. It's Google, the one that I'm really trying to figure out, how to get my just the informational search queries, obviously, not emergency plumber, that kind of shit. But, you know, how long does a tankless hot water heater last? Those type of questions and answers to get pulled in. Um, that's been my favorite thing to do lately, is try to figure out where they're pulling that data from. At least Google. Figured Bing was pretty easy, but Bing's ChatGPT too, so we had that pretty locked anyways.
I almost feel like they broke loose from the association in organic SERP and SGE. I feel like they broke it apart because like we're number one on like really tough terms in medical, like outranking NHMI, and we're getting from rank trackers, right? We're getting, hey, you're got the AI overview, and I'll see it in there, and we'll be like number one in the links, but they're absorbing. So 2 weeks ago, they were giving you a side link, like a call out, like a rich snippet, and then they were giving you credit in the summary of SGE. Now it's like they're giving you credit, but you have to click on the little link icon by the credit just to see. It's almost like the 3 dot thing they were doing.
Mhm.
And it seems like they're just hijacking that for, so like, number one on holistic medicine website, health web medicine websites, we pretty much own all that in Momentum, but they're just morphing it away from it. So I started reading a little bit of the patent technology behind it, and I think they're going to break it completely free. I
Mhm.
think organic's going to get concreted into like, okay, you've done all of the stuff that we know that you needed to do, but now you got a rich snippet chase. So that's my summary from the last 5 days of dealing with the SERP change. It's weird.
Yeah, it's definitely a moving target for sure. So, I think the big thing they did with the rank trackers that JP was always saying they were going to do anyways, and Circle finally came back, but now it's not anywhere close as it was before the Java update.
Yeah, I've been working on that script to try to find a counterintuitive, a refractive script. I was talking to Cato about it a little bit, but we got sidebarred with life. I feel like that the GSC tracker that we're building is almost out. That's going to be. I think they're forcing people to try to come back to GSC for their data,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Of it, and scrapes are not going to help us with rank. So it's all about finding a script to counter the script, basically, and then just put it in the pixel and reverse it. How are you thinking about tracking rank, JP, this year?
I'm trying into some like mobile cell phone networks to get all the towers, just to give me approximations of where people are going to be at, like if they're driving or just walking down the street. So we're pulling that data in. And then and we have our own database of all like stuff on Google Maps, like their actual database, just for the United States, which is fine. I don't really care about other countries. And then we're trying to see if we can pull some stuff for like Apple Maps too.
Mm. Just storing it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most of my API providers are still pretty decent. I don't really check rankings like a crazy amount of time, but
So is geo mapping now completely dead?
I have no idea. I haven't been talking to the dev in probably a couple of years. Last I
Yeah.
heard, I mean, he was trying to, give it back to me, and then I was just gonna give him some like a cut just to kind of like buy him out, but then that kind of fell through the cracks. So I had this idea to start pulling in the cell phone networks and other places within the last couple of months. I think I'm just going to build something like that. It'll be more of kind of an internal tool. I don't think I want to do anything public. I may just share like the script or something with a couple of you guys, but other than
It was
that,
still today my client's favorite freaking reporting. The user interface and the way it worked with the drop down menus, and I didn't even really give a shit how accurate it was. The clients just liked it.
I mean, it's definitely the most accurate from the data that we got. It uses quite a few thousand proxies, so it's definitely there. But
That's what's up.
unfortunately, more people want the looks of something rather than the actual it being accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So we hit a huge sales block because everyone wants it to look really nice, like Local Falcon and Dominator, and have it look like a damn cartoon. So, but hey, that's what people like.
I've kind of been going through that too, like getting the next phase of this launch and like dashboard. Like, but I'm proud of what we built. I think it's going to be really cool. So
Heck yeah.
it's me and Simon has been beating it over the head because like we're like, okay, like we got the JS front end, we know we're gonna beat that up, but like Google's positioning themselves to be the authority of all data and GSC. Like we all know that's what this is about, or I feel like that's kind of just understood, right? So we've been writing a dashboard that's just all about like it's kind of rank tracking, but it's not. I'll show you guys in a minute, but it's more like, okay, like here's your movement for the day. Like we chose not to index the data there. We're just going to move it to our decentralized knowledge graph for like storage. But every time you want to check, you just hit the play button in the browser and you go get a real-time check. And we're like what are the things that matter to people right now with as fast as it's moving? So wins and losses and top 10, rank change in the past day. We just like did the like really fast and hard stuff that like, okay, if you got someone, a VA on the ground or a tech looking at it, they can go and say, okay, like this is GSC data. We all realize it's still GSC data, but here's what's changing right now today, right? That you should be looking at. Hey, you just dropped from 1 to 7 on this term. So it is rank tracking the way we built it, but it's like piggybacking off GSC signals. So I don't really trust it. It's probably about 65% right, maybe, but it does give you a marker where like if you have a client who is like, let's just say a service client who's doing plumbing, heating, HVAC, they're getting all that confusion going on when you can create, levels there that are really defined and then push them through that system. I think it's a big win to try to start talking to Google in a different way, like scaffolding versus, on page is so important in zones and, JP's tried it method, the way they approach it, like all of us know like that. But I feel like that, that declaration is becoming so important. It's like almost absurd that, we're beating out NIHI for a holistic medicine website in the national cert, and we're a 6-shop medical place in Florida, right? That's chiros and doctors. Like that doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm talking a lot to say that like I just feel like the shift is so big, like that proximity that JP's talking about, location is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've been talking about some NFC stuff too. I've got a stack here of Ninja Pop. So hacking an NFC and instead of a phone, seeing if you can do locational drives with NFC touches at certain places, just looking at some weird stuff, trying to think outside the box with that aggregation.
Well, I don't know what's going on with I have one guy that just does GBP posts just to do GBP posts. But anyways, I have this one map that's an old lead gen of mine and he's been posting on it. And I looked at it the other day and I was like, damn, that's all we've been doing in this map. And it's just freaking increasing. It's just like, okay, I haven't done a press release. I haven't mentioned this freaking site, that this little lead gen site. And I did find out that my forms haven't been working for a year. So I lost like 20 form fills. So it's just like,
ouch.
But I'm just looking, so I'm going, what the hell? So now I'm going to do a new test. Okay, here's an actual one. Let's just do only GBP posts, nothing else, and see what the hell happens. I just have always done them just to connect the blog post to a GBP post and stuff like that. But it was never like a thing to get rankings, like in the SOP to rank. That's my press releases and link building to reviews and stuff like that, but never GBP posts. So that was interesting, but I don't have a timeline on when that kind of shifted. So I need to figure out, okay, does it take a month or 6 months? So I don't know. I just thought that was pretty interesting too, because it's actually one of our Monday morning calls. He goes through all the GBPs and lets me know how many posts he's done and how many posts are scheduled. And he's like, and I was like, oh, hey, what was that one you just mentioned? I forgot all about that sucker. But yeah, so I didn't even know. I don't even think people do GBP posts anymore, at least not,
I haven't
brag
done
about
one
it.
I haven't done one in probably maybe a few months. The only reason why I did it was just to help me index something.
Yeah.
I mean, really, all he's doing is copying, pasting some of the blog, putting it up in the blog in the GBP post, adding the same featured image, and then a link back to the blog. That's basically that's all he's been doing.
You
You
don't
know,
have, you don't have to connect that many dots for them to get it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I will drop a post every now and then, but like I'll do it to a page with substructure. If I'm still building that way and I'm not just level one arcing something, I'll
Mhm.
drop it there, but I won't. So 2 years ago, and JP's like been saying for 7, 8 months, like, and you're wasting your time with them, right? The only other thing like I see, that people are like in our program are talking about, and they're like, well, other programs are talking about linking, your entities through posts. I'm like, yes, like it's not gonna hurt anything. It's just not like a big needle mover anymore.
Yeah.
It's just, um, and reviews are not long for this world, in my opinion. So, there'll be a review system, but I think that'll be kind of completely and totally wiped. Like it's just the more and more like they do what they're doing with the GBP, like I feel like they're just going to try to integrate it into their whole AI experience and make that just the first half of the page by third quarter would be my guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's for sure, definitely. And I got tired of fighting about reviews. I mention it every time we call, every time we talk, in my newsletters, but to sit there and try to get my roofing company to go out and get reviews, just freaking gave up. It's like,
Yes.
uh,
so, and I've tried the fake reviews, and I've got a couple GBPs and I try fake reviews on. I'm actually trying a new one that I got last week. We'll see, but I would only use fake reviews on my lead gens. I wouldn't use them on client sites.
let's see here.
But it's a world that's, I mean, one of the, like, I've got a lady that wants to add an actual listing to, and she's like, what do I do? And I said, well, wait, we're going to do a press release first and tie the address to the brand and, all that shit. So, just because almost everything we're doing now is video verify. So I'm trying to get as much shit out there before we even go after the listing.
Hmm.
And I still do what JP says, branded email, freaking all the shit that we have to do.
I did branded email and reactivations are just so strong right now. They
for
really
sure.
are, like, because people are kind of waffling out here. In my experience, like usually it was like how much, how many tickets can we take, how much work can we take, but we're seeing a lot of people like do the audit part of our process and then kind of waffling and like, okay, we're not sure if we want to spend the money yet. um just kind of a little different mindset out there now.
Is there an actual good GBP audit program out there?
I just use my brain.
Mm,
I do that. I do that too, but I've been using like um what is it? My website auditor. Can't remember his program, but
Who I really love, like the best plugin ever made for just like really quick GMB everywhere. I'm sure you know of it.
yeah.
Like if you just do their like full audit and then take that and run from there, it'll save you, 80/20 rule. But I like to like look at it and go, okay, a lot of times we'll get clients that are like, hey, we joined the program. We want to rank for this listing. I'm like, cool. And I go look up the listing and it's like, on a dumpster in a parking lot where people, dump hookers, like, excuse my language, but it's like, okay, like, do you really want to be found there on that GMB? Like, is that really your goal, or you just have a pack in because you can't sab it out and you don't figure, like people just, I think that's dying. I'm seeing a lot less of that. Like people are understanding like drop pins. JP can make them work longer than anyone on the planet, but they're coming to an end, right? Like you keep dropping pins in industrial lots and like it's not going to keep sticking. And I'm seeing that in Australia. I'm seeing it in Germany. We've got clients like all around the world, and I'm seeing just this massive rake of fake GMBs just being destroyed, like not even existent.
Yeah, and I got one hanging out there. I got a roofing company inside of a church. Still there,
Wow.
still alive. We don't touch this thing. We don't freaking even mention this freaking. It's like not even mentioned. He gets like 15 leads a month. I mean, no big deal. But yeah, that was one of the ones I bought, and then I paid extra to show the address. That was a freaking wake up call.
Yeah.
So there's this 25-year-old church in the same freaking lot. I guess my roofing company has a little business on the side of the building or something. But yeah, that's the only one I have that's really that funky left. So, but yeah, I've got a few that have the do not touch rule.
So we're in discussion with a client. This is their literal name. Okay. Neighborhood, plumbing, heating, cooling, and drainage. That is the name. That's their copyrighted LLC name. So you have 5 generic entities in their name that, like they've done a great job, but I had a meeting with him. He was like, all my clients are referral is how I grew my business across all these dynamics. They're up in Minnesota. He was like, but they're dying.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, at least you know where you're at. And he's in his late 60s, and he was like, what do we do? And I'm like, so I did any extraction, I did all the things on this property. I'm like, Google just has like, they think that you do like ended up being like heating for like pumps and then into sump pumps and like just all this craziness. And he still ranks out, right? And rank is not bank. So he ranks out, but he's like, people aren't converting, people don't understand what we do. And I'm like, because you don't have a brand, dude. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the worst time. But this website's been on index for 22 years. Like I can make one little content change and an entity injection, and it's like, boop, #1, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't know how to separate that kind of brand name out and make it successful across all those verticals and give them breathing room, to take on a new audience. Like it's insane, like what people will do. Like, so that is like I'm going to probably have a case study of that one for spring training. It's just one that it gives me a stutter to even talk about it, because it's like, and then it's 3 locations, right? So it's 5 on 3 with the most generic thing and no brand to fall back on. Everybody's squawking brand. Brand's important.
Mm-hmm.
But, I
If you
don't.
don't have a brand, what the hell do you do? So.
Well, then you go and be a tiger and you do like what we did at Ward Wallet, right? Go look at American Express airline rewards or anything related to that. Like we took that away from American Airlines, right? Like we just went after their brand and said, okay, we're going to kill you. But in this case, I don't have a brand to go after because I don't have a brand to back it up.
Yeah.
It's brand war. Anyone who thinks by the middle of 2025 that it's not about brand, then, they're going to.
Yeah, they're in for a rude awakening. I had my favorite week of my live on page class today, and it's all about siloing and branding and all the importance of internal linking, which I think is the key nowadays. And it's amazing that some of these questions and some of these way that people, and I did the same thing. I mean, when I went back and looked at Solterra's site, gosh, I can't remember how long it's been, 3 years now. Anyways, Elizabeth and I went to San Diego and we never just actually take a vacation, but I just started looking at my old blog posts. That's all I did. I went back and looked at my blog posts from 2015, 2016. Like 300 words if I was lucky, 7 or 8 links. It was just like freaking, what the hell is this? And so the whole freaking weekend, I redid my entire freaking website. Took a bunch of light content, made them into one blog, and did all the redirects. I mean, but it was freaking flat out embarrassing that, gosh, I hope nobody saw my site.
That link I just put in our chat. So
Yeah.
that page is well aged. Okay. It is a bullshit page.
Mhm.
Right? Like there's no world we live in where that page should rank. This is the page that literally carries this whole website to #1 on pretty much all things natural medicine.
That's
And
cool.
it's just links, but it's aged and it's been properly done, all the tagging, all the stuff. It's been entity injected to the freaking nines.
Mhm.
And that page should not be ranking where it is right now. Like I'm kind of like almost like I'm just surprised. It's like, okay, let's recycle to 1999, right?
Yep.
Directories and Zines. Like give me that again if that's what we're doing right now. Again, like this is one example, but to the point, like backlinking is more important than ever, and age I think is right behind it. Sans the things we can do with front end programming, with on page content, and programmatic scheduling and scaffolding. I think that if you have something old, like Odious and Seto right now should be going nuts. Like
Mhm.
someone needs to tell Craig Campbell to get on that and get a campaign going, because age domains went crazy in December. Algo, like they have so much power now. Again, and so that site should not be ranking that page for. We're outranking the National Health Institution, right? Like we shouldn't be outranking Harvard and other pages, and it's a blatant abuse of it,
Yeah.
because the guy we run the program with, he's like I don't care. He's a total black hat rebel, right? Florida PIP insurance is about as dirty as it gets, right? So he's like, do whatever. So this was a test that we started 2 years ago, and with the algorithm, it was just like, you just get all of the #1s.
Well, and
And
it's actually like the old, center of the link wheels.
yeah,
We used to
it's
build link
totally
wheels,
it.
and I still believe in them. Skylar's been buying domains for me forever from auctions, and we used
Mhm.
to build a lot of, topically, not even topic, but more, um, more niche down type, hubs around things. And that's exactly what this thing looks like. And yeah, you just pump all the links to this one and they go all out to the links to everyone else.
Yeah, and then then you use Garrett's methodology and you expand it again to subs, and then use EC and you go to subdirectories, and then you've got a monster. Like
Yeah, we love turbo subdomains. I'm freaking doing some really crazy because I can do schema because it's WordPress. I can freaking schema all these freaking subdomains out, and it's
yeah,
really freaking cool.
I was
So,
actually just rapping with him right before we got on. Here, I'll send you this screenshot here.
hold on, I'm gonna run down and get me another refill. It sucks being in a 2-story house.
Yeah, in the
So
bottom.
that's the
Yeah,
inside
I'm
out.
testing using expired domains with forums. Like I'm building them into forums.
So I love that, and I love like the community thing that we're doing. So the Fluent stack I have, Jordan, it's so sick, bro. Like I'm just gonna sneak it in, and you'll obviously have access. I'm gonna be dropping it on people. It's a go high level replacement, and it's not dumb. It's nice, bro. It's
Nice.
it's word, obviously WordPress because we have to do that with people, but we split the community off into JS, React. That's all separate. So that's EC's in that architecture now. But so in Fluent, I run Postmark. All SMTPs are private, and then those are SMTP'd off of the server through the cloud and randomized. And then we run all of our email marketing campaigns from inside there. So we did 11,268 emails last month for our medical client. We had an amazing so we moved it from MailChimp, right? And we were having like 2% click through the first one through the new stack with our own custom deliverables and our rotating IPs. We hit 23% response. And
Wow.
it was
Yeah.
like, okay, so that stack has Fluent CRM, it has a support system, it has a booking system that integrates directly in to any calendar system, and it has boards, so you can have Scrum boards for devs, you can have pipelines for sales, and it's all automated, so you just drag to the next one, like, hey, I just got these people ready, I got them scheduled, they drag it, it starts the mail sequences, no one, like, it's fire, bro. Like, I'm gonna kill GHL on purpose because they took a little bit of skin out of my hide last year with their ridiculousness. So it's definitely something I
stand
want
them.
to share.
Yeah, I can't stand them.
I hate them. I hate the way they treat people. So yeah, we rebuilt that. Fluent CRM is the top of the stack, and you can see the whole stack there. But we invested in all of it, and then I'm working with Jahar like straight on, like, hey, like this, and we're killing it with that, man. Like, I believe, like, again, re-edify, like all the ad work and stuff, dude, everyone's exhausted and it's expensive, and it's, this is the year of organic attribution turning into money and just finding the right channels, right? So that's another really good one. The whole Fluent community, I love them. They're they're awake, they're working hard. So check that out, and hit me up off meeting. Anyone wants to, I'll give you a copy of the stack that I have. You just gotta, it's an expensive process to get all of it licensed, but like, we've got 3 of them out now, and once you get it built and you get everything running, the overhead's super low, and the rate of return is a whole nother level because you're using I use Postmark. They're the best. So for SMTP relays, put that in your pocket too.
I'm
Man,
still
there's
using Mautic.
who?
Mautic.
Yeah.
Use them for everything.
I'm not familiar with them. I went from
It's completely open source, and then you can tie in all your email providers if you want. You can just use straight up Gmail
that's
SMTP.
Postmark, basically. I went from a really long overdue relationship with SendGrid to Postmark because I finally had a SendGrid problem, and that was not fun. I'm gonna grab a refill, gents.
Okay, so somebody messaged me.
You're working on this day, Sky.
Setting up Neo the past few days. Just started a campaign today, so hopefully that'll be a high success rate. So then I know that all the proxies and shit are working. And then working on my dad's reporting system that he provides to clients that don't care about them.
Yep, he's working into my project manager.
Nice.
So my goal this year is to get Terry away from clients. I just want to do testing. I just want to work on my affiliates. I really want to get back into flipping websites. It's probably one of my favorite freaking things to do are flip websites. But yeah, I just can't do that when I'm talking Joe Bob Plumber in Dallas. Somebody else can do that. So
Pass the torch on that one. I'm
yeah.
ready. to do the same thing. I think JP's already exited out of that equation. I'm almost
I think JP's got Clint Butler's attitude now. If you want fucking reports, go somewhere else.
I
cocky.
just well, the guy's like, well, I had one guy's like, so what are you gonna send me? Like, how do I know what you're doing? I'm like, you're gonna skip phone calls and you're gonna get leads.
And that's
Like, what else
exactly
do you what else do you care about? He's like, I'm like, why do you need to see the analytics report that I send you? Why do you need to see a map grid report that I send you? More than likely, it's gonna be fucking wrong anyways. So you'll
yeah,
know based on what you're getting.
Yeah.
yeah, big time. And that's the whole
The,
thing.
the only deliverable that they get is a website. They'll get a new site and that's it. But it's like, hey, we manage everything. Like, just you worry about your business, we'll worry about ours.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you doing much equity share now or equity plays?
Yeah, I mean, I have a big one that we're launching right now, a couple of brands in the home services. So, like I took his company from like 3 million to like 7 million in the last couple of years. So I was like, hey,
Right
I was
on.
thinking about opening up this other area over here. I'm like, do you want to partner up? He's like, yeah. And then he's like, well, I don't want to do it in California because they have shitty laws. I was like, all right.
Yeah,
We're actually going to be opening up across some areas in the Southwest and some of the Midwest.
right on. Yeah, those are good. I'm working with one franchise right now, and that's what I'm starting my equity plays in is the franchise model. So,
And it's been a little bit, it's been a couple years since I've built like a brand new brand, like from like start to finish. Like,
yeah,
everything I was working was like established, or it's like, they've been up, I actually did the SEO for my buddy's cyber firm too, while I was also working with him. But he was already kind of established, already had his site, had some good, articles. So, but this is like probably been a couple years, probably 2 or 3 years since I've like went like started from the get go, like all the branding, getting the GMB set up, getting the site built out, like doing everything.
Hmm.
yeah, for
Why'd
sure.
you
I mean,
come
that's
back?
it. It's a bunch of work. That's
A
I
lot
think
of
it's
work.
actually easier to take a brand new brand than it is taking an old brand. In
Yeah.
I
some,
would rather like anyone who's like, I want a company who's established. I'm like, there's no way in hell I don't want to work with. If you've been working with like 10 SEOs, I'm not working with you. I'm just not.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would rather have you. One of my favorite clients I got, this was back in like 2012, 2013, was a garage door company. And I took him from, one man truck to 10 trucks. And he never even thought in a million years that he would ever have that big of a company. He's like, I'm pretty happy making X. I go home, see my family, and like that was it. He invited me to his wedding and all this shit. Like, sometimes, and that was part of the discussion too, is like, sometimes we have to be a business coach. It's like sometimes we have to kind of let them see the bigger picture. Like, hey, like we're looking for growth. I don't care how small you are, but you are going to grow and
yeah,
be ready for that. So I would rather take the one man vans, like the good kind of solo guys where you see their wives posting in Facebook groups, hey, my husband's starting an air duct clean. Like those are my favorite clients.
yeah, hundred
They haven't
percent.
done any SEO or anything. They need to get a decent site up, but at least I get to start fresh, do it with my method. They haven't been through all the weeds. They don't have a bad taste in their mouth with SEO. So it's like if you're gonna get it done right, just get it done from the get go.
You're not getting blindsided from 6 months ago from the last agency, things they put in play you don't know
No,
about.
it's like I'm spending the first month undoing or fixing things that was done incorrectly. And it's like I don't want to spend my first, and it's not fair to the owner. Like you paid me money to do something. Like I don't want to spend my time or waste your money fixing someone else's mistakes.
Yeah.
And I have one right now that I'm working on. I love doing audits because I get to pick and choose who I actually want to go the second phase for. And this guy's in huge trouble. And he's like, well, how are we going to fix this? And I said, well, you own the .net.
Yeah.
We're gonna freaking 301 redirect this bitch all the way into freaking cleanness, so because it was just gonna be that much easier to fix all the shit. They did a web design rebuild, which is my biggest pet peeve, like a year ago. Changed all the URL structures, everything tanked, freaking shocked the shit out of Google, and I said, we're just gonna go back and do it .net. And so we're right in the middle of that process right now of doing all the redirects now. And I do the redirects through Excel spreadsheets. And, this guy's he's like, hey, I'm like, I'm all yours. I've lost 80% of my traffic the past 18 months. So, and I said, we're going to do some paid ads. We're going to work on your GMB or GBP, still GMB for me. But yeah, you're just wipe your website gone.
Yeah.
It's too much shit to fix. It's going to cost you too much money to fix it.
I'd rather have links go to 404s than just starting fresh.
Yep.
Like we'll just bid you brand new citations, do everything from the get go. I don't care if you have duplicates. I don't even care.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And
Yeah,
I think it's good for the robots to see a 301 every once in a while and freaking change direction. That way the robot doesn't get bored. So, but
awesome.
that's one of my favorite things to do is look and see, okay, you're in big freaking trouble. You're still making money. You're still a very viable company. Now let's take this one piece and fix it. And I want to get 30% of everything that comes out.
Yeah, I got some ideas from Lisa's event. Someone just said something like just for like doing outreach. Maybe it was Ted or someone said something like just find like technical issues on the sites. Like there's so many sites even that are indexed that are just complete garbage, have a lot of errors. It's really easy to scrape out those.
It is for
I
sure.
actually thought about doing that, just fixing people's stuff.
Well, at one time, because Lisbon and I used to be one of the biggest house flippers in Arizona, and I was asked to do that, flip that house show.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that, flip that website show.
That'd be awesome.
Do a whole YouTube thing. We took this piece of shit site that had A, B, C, and D and all this stuff wrong with it. And, we did all these cosmetic things and all these technical. I just think it'd be freaking. I actually have had a conversation with ChatGPT about building this type of, like YouTube show out,
It's funny.
And-
I've seen a couple like client sites in the last couple of years, and it's pretty funny because once you kind of know who each other are, like, I know Terry, I know Clint, I know Corey, like I've encountered a couple of agencies sites. I'm like, oh, I know who did this site. They're like, really? I'm like, yep, I know their style, I know what they did, I know the code, like, and then you see guys like, I know who did this one and who fucked it up and who messed.
Yeah.
It's actually, because you're right. I mean, if I, like Marie, I know Marie's sites, I mean, Marie and I have touched a lot of people the same. And, I mean, I don't mean that dirty. Don't freaking send me nasty. But, I know what she looks for. I know what I look for. And, especially I'm huge about internal linking. Some people aren't that big a deal about it. It's like, it's okay. But yeah, it's kind of funny when you go through these audits and it goes, who else has looked at this site? Oh, I know who those guys are. I even got a site one time. This was like right before COVID hit because I do a lot of white label for agencies. And this guy sent me a website. It was actually my website. It was just a different agencies that we had the white label for it. I said, man, this friggin' website's top notch, man. What the frick? So, but it was pretty funny. But I did find some stuff in the audit that we needed. But it was just stuff like that when you start doing and looking at other people's things, and especially if you're kind of niche down. Like I can tell a Scorpion site from a mile away.
Yeah.
And I know I can flip them into my site pretty dang quick, just because I know what they do, I know their processes, I know their fulfillment style. Spend enough time in Texas, you're going to run up against Scorpion. So, but.
I ran up them quite a bit actually. I ran into some of the big guys because they're corporate centers in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just merged with Service Titan too, and Service Titan's based out of Utah as well.
They hate me.
Yeah, they do.
I hate Service Titan. Like I don't know who runs that, and I felt like I knew the name and like maybe the person's good.
Super nice guy, really nice guy.
Who is it?
Who owns Service Titan?
Because I remember him and I liked Service Titan, but I hate
yeah, the guys at Service Titan are really, really nice.
Yeah,
just
who was
solid. I can't remember that there's family members that originally started it.
Yeah.
I know them really. Oh my God, I can't think of the
I
name.
know. I couldn't.
But when Scorpion bought them out, when I found out, I'm like, oh my God. But hey, if you're gonna get a good exit, screw it.
It's for real.
Yeah, I mean,
I
mean, that's kind of the point. You build something great. I mean, whoever, if I don't really care who buys it out. I mean, if I want to get out, I'll get out. I don't care who wants to send me money.
Yeah, because
But I didn't realize they bought them out. I thought they just partnered with them. They bought them out.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I used to love getting people off of Service Titan.
Yeah, they're good. What's that other one? House Call Pro. They're pretty decent.
Yeah, I actually like House Call Pro. They do at least of all of those. It seems like they do the most updates.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't. Scorpion's the freaking devil.
they are.
Yeah,
They're
they're so bad. And
Freaking
I mean
and
they're
now they're
awesome
doing
in
it work.
sales. You
Their
know,
sites look great. I mean, I'll hand it to them. Their sites look good. They're just their structure, the content, like they just taking that much money from a business owner
well, and they're in a big
and
class
not doing anything is just ridiculous.
it's
Well,
not.
and they're in a big class action lawsuit with lawyers, just because even though they agreed to have all this stuff incorporated, they didn't realize the cost to get out of Scorpion.
Yeah.
So I've got a lawyer here in Phoenix that really wants to go with us, but it's going to cost him 50K to get out of Scorpion. So, and that's just they didn't realize that, even though they probably signed something that said they were okay with it. But yeah, they're hurting people that want to leave because they know they're not getting results. I mean, it's just all you gotta do is look at this poor lawyer's map. I mean, he's not even ranking in this parking lot, as freaking Merlino would say. And so yeah, they just trap them in. They get into the CRM, they get into the website, they get into freaking having every single thing that happens with your business.
I've even seen them buying the ads through their own ad account, and they only add users as managers of the ad account, and they use their pics. And this is nothing new, but they're the worst. Like, so we converted a client out of there, and he'd been paying a lot of money for ads, a lot, right?
Mhm.
And we were like, hey, that account has no campaigns in it. You sold it as an ad campaign that was going to be take with us, and there's nothing there. And they were like, oh no, that's not what your contract said. Like, we were serving you leads, you can leave the program, right? And so
Yeah.
like the client's like, okay, I have no bearing. And I'm like, in your industry, roofing, right? If we go in Virgin in a Google Ads account right now, like, you need to take $50,000 out of the bank and like let's go burn that on the front lawn. Like, think about it like that, because we're not going to just burn the money, but we're going to get a lot of stuff done. But you have to invest in it. It's not Facebook ads, right? It's not, let's run the gauntlet and see. And he was like, but I've been paying them all this money for the past 2 years. Why don't I have that already? And I was like, well, you sign a contract where they ran that all through their lead gen system. And so, this guy is 2 years later burning to the ground, asking us for help and saying, and I have no data. For me, like, that's the hardest part when someone comes to us with because I love SMB, like Jordan said, get to do it our way, get to set it on course, to revisit JV. I wish I would have done that with the trucking company we had in Houston. They just got bought by Gulf Winds International. I didn't have a deal in place, and it was a good monthly retainer, but they burned. They
Yeah.
would stay with us, and they burned us in the last minute. So like when we're talking about those kinds of businesses, like getting your JVM when it's time is super important. It's a Brian Hong thing. He's been banging in my brain, and then like dealing with these other things we've been talking about. Like, you just have to really be attentive, and I think that a lot of people like to set it and forget it in our industry, and it's just so painful right now to watch people. We call them the walking wounded in our
Yeah,
camp.
you can't do that anymore. You can't if your website is stagnant, you're already on the downhill. I mean, it's getting really super crazy out there. I have a guy in my class that he's came from the link building side and into the content side, and that's kind of a interesting topic for me. And but now he's starting to kind of understand that, if you don't have a good page that link is going to, then you're not doing justice to that link. And it's and quit sending everything to the damn homepage. Come on.
Please. Please stop.
Hey, I got this great, Notre Dame.edu link and I sent it to my homepage. Why'd you do that? So, but yeah, it's a rude awakening for people, but I think people should be excited about it. Hell, a year ago, I was paying $30 a freaking piece of content. I was freaking spending $3,000 to $5,000 a month for my client content. Now I'm spending zero. I turned all my content people into editors, and we just made ChatGPT our bitch. We personalize it to each client. Client loves the content, and we're writing 10 blogs a month now instead of 2. So
Well, hey guys, I got a hard stop at 4, but definitely looking forward to doing these more in the future.
heck yeah. Nope, yeah, I want to do these every Tuesday. Kind of just bring some more people along, get Cato in here and some other people, Ted, and I'll reach out to everybody individually. I just want it to be free flowing though. I don't want to try to invite people and hey,
Yeah,
it's just,
if you can make it great, if you can't, whatever.
yeah, exactly. It's all just if we want to talk about the weather in freaking San Diego, hey, totally fine. Just let's stay away from politics.
All right, I gotta go catch
That's the only thing I ask,
I gotta catch my
Hey guys.
All right, guys, thank you.